Halfway into our Copenhagen trip and I checked our bank balance, and for a moment I genuinely thought we'd messed up. We hadn't been reckless, we hadn't splurged on luxury, but Copenhagen has a way of making very normal things feel expensive. And when you're traveling as a family during the school holidays, those costs stack up quickly. So in this video I'm breaking down exactly what we spent, what surprised us most, and whether Copenhagen was actually worth the money. Before we booked, everyone said the same thing. Copenhagen is amazing, but it's expensive. Add in school holidays, flights, hotels, food, and attractions. So instead of guessing or rounding numbers, we tracked every single pound, because by the end of this, we wanted to answer one question. Were we overspending, or is it just the real price of family travel in one of Europe's most expensive cities? The total for the flights with Ryanair was £519.61. £194 of that was the Family Plus bundle for checked luggage, which we definitely needed. Copenhagen in January means thick coats, layers, jumpers. For the hotel, we booked into Hotel Kong Arthur, and this was definitely the single biggest cost of the entire trip at £964.20. But this was definitely worth it. The hotel was amazing. I'll do a review of that on the channel soon. And this is where Copenhagen really tests you though. Every booking feels like a trade-off, cheaper and less comfortable, or expensive and easier. We did save a bit of money as we didn't book breakfast at first. We thought we'd find some cafes, but after a couple of long days we caved in. Out of the £284.20 got added when we checked out, £138 of that was for breakfast for just 2 mornings. The rest was just a few drinks in the bar in the evenings. This is where prices really started to sink in. Food is where Copenhagen quietly drains your wallet. Snacks, pastries, coffee, the odd glass of wine, nothing fancy, which somehow makes it worse. All of that came to £246.79. Then we add meals, which came to £523.77. We had takeaway pizza in the hotel twice, which saved us money. We had an amazing Thai meal at a restaurant called Lum Lum, which price-wise was pretty reasonable. We had lunch in Nijhaven, which was very expensive for what it was. You're definitely paying for the view. And then we had sushi at Sticks and Sushi, which was actually really worth it. It was the most expensive meal of the trip, but you actually got a decent amount of food. No single meal really broke the bank. It was just the combination of all of them. And this is the kind of spending that you just don't notice until you look back. Attractions came to £237.93, and honestly, this is one of the best parts. Tivoli Gardens with ride passes was expensive, but genuinely magical as a family, and we spent the entire day there. Rosenborg Castle felt like great value, and Experimentarium, if you've got kids, is definitely a no-brainer. The attractions weren't cheap, but they were definitely worth it. So when we add everything up, flights, hotel, food, attractions, coffee, pastries, the total was £2,492.30. And yeah, that definitely sounds like a lot. But when you break it down, 4 nights, 5 full days for a family of 3 during the school holidays in one of Europe's most expensive cities, and it doesn't actually feel too bad. So is Copenhagen expensive? It definitely is, but some things are great value. But overall, Copenhagen delivered. It's a great city. There is so much to do. It's beautiful, and the people are incredibly friendly. So I would definitely recommend going. You just have to go in there expecting the cost. So I'm curious, is £2,492 around about what you expected it to be? Let me know in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, please do hit that thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more.